Hey, what is up guys? I am Hippie. I want to welcome you back to a brand new video for you guys today. So, I've been thinking about some Minecraft building lately, and I've taken a bit of a break since I've done some building, and I think I've gotten a little bit better since then. So I think maybe we can improve this old HS house. I'm going to go over the 5 tips that I like to try to use when making a house. And maybe you guys can learn a little bit from it, maybe I can learn a little bit from it. Let's go ahead and hop in and start running through the tips I like to use. Right, so number 1 is like color variety or block variety. Now this is important whether you're using wood or stone or whatever block you're using. On my first attempt of building this house, I just went with oak wood, and it left it looking really plain and I guess just boring. So what I did on the renovation was I went through and I replaced some of the oak with some spruce wood around the corners and edges. This just kind of makes it look like some of the blocks are a bit older than others and mixes it up a little bit. So it's pretty cool. Alright, so the next one is something that I've started doing on my houses quite a bit, is foundations. Right now my house is just kind of hovering above the grass, which kind of looks unnatural. Something you can do to make that look a little bit more natural is just using some building techniques that people actually use when building houses, and that's a foundation. Either smacking all the grass down and putting like dirt or some type of natural material below it. I use gravel right here, and then I put like something in front of it. You can use like trapdoors or fences or gates, whatever you want. You can make a little design down there like this one, and just kind of mess around with it a little bit. You can put whatever you want there, so it's pretty customizable for blocks and things to put in front of it. It's pretty sweet. Alright, so the next one is foliage or nature. Now, I always have a bit of trouble with this one, as I can never get the right amount. I always have either too much or too little, but I guess this one kind of depends on the person and the style of the build you're doing. I want this house to look a little bit older than normal, so I want to put some vines around it. I want to put some stuff on it to make it look like it's growing some moss and stuff like that. Just remember that you have to put vines on full blocks, so try to take that into account where you want to put your vines. If you want to stop them from growing, just put some string below it. Now, it works the same way with leaves. You got to be a little bit sparse, and you can't put too much or too little. You got to get the right amount. So I decided to put this little bit of a, I guess, vine trellis type thing on the porch, and you just kind of put some vines or some leaves here and there, and put some fences in between it. Let it hang over a little bit if you want. I recommend switching up some of the leaves a little bit, just like that. A little bit of brighter, a little bit of duller colors makes it look pretty nice. Right, next is, I guess, building texture. Now, right now, this side looks a little bit better than it did, but it's still flat. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the middle section, and I'm just going to bring it out one. I'm going to keep the exact same design. You don't need to redesign your build or your pattern or anything like that. Just bring it out a little bit. Just get a little bit of texture in there. You can see I got these out. I'm going to pull the whole thing out, my entire design. You could just leave the pillars out a little bit if you want, but I'm going to put the entire thing out one from where it was, and it's going to give quite a bit of texture to the house that wasn't there a minute ago. You can see it's got this huge chunk. I'm not too worried about the roof because we're going to get to that in a little bit, but yeah, I did the same thing on the other side, and it gives it a little bit more shape to it than it had before. Alright, so this is what I was talking about the roof. I don't know what to call this. I guess it's just roof detailing. I've always called it banding the roof, and I don't think that's the right way I should call it, but I'm adding this little bit of a detail, an overhang, and a little bit of a shape around it. Now, you could use a darker color wood if you want, or a block even. I just went with cobblestone because, like I said, I want this building to feel a little bit older. I guess it depends on what you're working on, to determine what kind of block you want to put in there, but just adding a little bit to it. But now that I've given you all 5, I'm going to go ahead and apply them to this build, and I'm going to show you some before and afters, and I guess tell you guys about how much time it took me to do the entire remodeling in survival. So let's look. Alright, so I've applied the ideas that I was talking about earlier. And I think the building looks completely different. It's pretty insane. And the entire thing only took me about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And there's still a lot more I could do to this place, but I feel like it looks a lot better already. And I feel like you guys are getting the idea of what I'm talking about, and you guys can go apply it to your builds yourself. And I guess let me know what you guys think. That's gonna go ahead and do it though for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I have been Hippie, and I'll see you guys next time.